What's up, everybody? Welcome to the temple. Today, I want to talk about why basics win fights because fighting can expose what you really rely on. Under pressure, only habits survive. Fundamentals become automatic. You get what I'm saying? Your bread and butter, the one twos, or whatever you do naturally with your body, that's what you're going to do in the fight. Regardless of what you train on, you can train that spinning back kick, that bicycle kick, all you want. But when you get tired, you're gonna go back to the bread and butter, which is whatever you feel comfortable with, whatever your body will allow you to do. And all the advanced moves, they fall apart when you're stressed. Which also leads me to why being simple beats chaos. Because once you understand that fights expose what you truly rely on, that's when you see why, like I said, being simple can actually beat the chaos. Because real fights is messy and unpredictable, but clean basics give you the control, if you get what I'm saying. And simple technique just cut through chaos, especially when you discipline and you actually sticking with the game plan rather than trying to survive. You not worried about doing anything extra, doing anything, not what the coach, like the coach is not telling you to do. You sticking to the game plan, which is super important, especially if you're a good fighter, and you actually know how to implement that not only in training but in your fights as well. I think that's super important, man. And also, it makes techniques faster and more efficient because basic fights have least wasted amount of motion, like they have least wasted motion, and sharp jabs land before all that fancy stuff. He who rules the left rules the world. It is true that the jab is the most important punch. You can really beat somebody off a jab alone. No joke. You can really beat somebody off a jab alone. And effective footwork. It make a lot of it make a huge difference in a fight. It set everything up as far as placement with your shots and just your distance alone. You can control the whole pace of the fight. You get what I'm saying? And with speed comes something even more important in a real fight, which is your defense, man. Your defense is built on basics. Most losses come from simple mistakes. A good guard plus distance equals survival. Basics protect you when you overwhelm and you don't know what to do, but you know that you got a solid 1-2, or you know that you got some good footwork, or you know that okay, at the end of the day, he can't get past my guard. Anytime I get overwhelmed in that ring, you go back to that bread and butter. You get what I'm saying? You do what you know what you can do. You do what your body allows itself to do. You get what I'm saying? You rely on what's more important, and that is your. I like to call it bread and butter. Your bread and butter. Sometimes people say bread and butter for combos, stuff like that, but I think it's also translate to just you know That's whatever you do on a bag, everybody got that combo that they love to do on a heavy bag, or they just love to do when they sparring or when they fighting. If you know you can hit that anytime, or you know you got a good hook or a good overhand, sometimes you gotta rely on that. And that's why we gotta be more important I'm sorry, that's why it's more important to actually be disciplined with that move and also work on that if efficiently as you can. Bruce Lee said himself, he's not afraid of a person that can do 1,000 moves. He's afraid of the person that trains one move 1,000 times. That shows discipline. You know, when your defense is solid, when it just opened up doors to more advanced setups, if that makes sense. Because basics create advanced opportunities. All highlight moves start from basic setups. You just don't throw head kicks out of the blue. You get what I'm saying? People think, just because you flex like it may look like it's cool and they flexible and all that, but 9 times out of 10, it's a setup behind it, and it probably started from the beginning of the fight. You get what I'm saying? But even though those advanced setups fall apart, basics stay strong when you tire and your body falls back to habits. Always, it always falls back to your habits because fatigue kills advanced techniques. Once you get tired, it's hard for you to even think and fathom, all the advanced skills. You go back to the basics. And if you look at a real fight, you'll see this pattern over and over and over again with the best of fighters, you know. Most KOs come from simple combos. Champions drill basics the most. You know, they're not in there doing a whole bunch of stupid crazy stuff, bro. You know what I'm saying? They may throw more than one punch in like not more than one punch, but they may throw more than three punches in combinations because that I mean you have to train that. Some people train that. Ilya Taporia talk about that a lot. Like we talked about it with Joe Rogan, but you can see it in his fight style. Like he do more than just a 1, 2, 3 or pop 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 and then stop. Yeah, pop 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 pop. You get what I'm saying? But you gotta train that. You get what I'm saying? You have to train that. You gotta literally break that rhythm. And I think that's very cool too, because a lot of people not used to that. So if you can somewhat turn that advance to some people to your basics, I think you will separate yourself from a lot of people, you know, because basics is the foundation at the end of the day. And advanced moves are just tools, bro. Basics is like the structure everything sits on, if that makes sense, bro. And a fighter with strong fundamentals is dangerous everywhere. Don't ever forget that. I appreciate all the love. I hope y'all have a blessed one.